Hello and welcome to the General Work Rules and Indoctrination Contractor Site Safety Training for Cisco, Canada. The agenda of this training will be the purpose, site contacts, contractor sign-in policy and information, contractor site safety, health and safety, rights, personal behavior, PPE, STA, material handling, working at heights, ladder safety, fire safety, safety devices and incident reporting, critical areas, access control and escorting, electrical and mechanical equipment, security, work scripts, electrical safety, lotto, confined space, hot work permits, fire management and protection systems, loading dock access, computer rooms, housekeeping, environmental management systems, and ISO 14001, and the summary and conclusion. The training purpose is to communicate contractor site safety work rules, define mandatory work rules, prevent errors and accidents, reduce operational risk in operating a critical environment, enable Q&A to ensure clear understanding. It is our policy to perform work in the safest manner possible, consistent with the Occupational Health and Safety Act and the regulations made under this act. Protecting employees, contractors, and the public from workplace injury is a major continuing objective. Below lists the site contacts and information. The CBRE rep providing you with this training will provide you with your direct lines of communication should you require any further assistance. Safety is job number one for everyone on site. Follow your approved company environmental health and safety program and policies. CBRE employees will follow CBRE policies. Questions. If there is ever a question, stop work and ask. Events and incidents must be reported. Report safety-related events, observations, and circumstances to your site supervisor, who will then provide that information to your site contact. Any incidents, abnormal equipment operations, alarms, personal hazards, or unsafe behavior or activity must be reported immediately. Everyone has three fundamental rights in the workplace: the right to know about hazards in your workplace, the right to refuse work which you believe will endanger yourself or others, and the right to participate in the identification and control of hazards in your workplace. Everyone has a responsibility to report unsafe conditions. Become involved in the Joint Health and Safety Committee or as a health and safety rep. Refuse it. No one has to undertake a task they feel is unsafe. You have more than a right to refuse unsafe work, but a responsibility to yourself and to others under the law. Employees or subcontractors of CBRE are not to take on a task they are unqualified to complete, or in an area or under a condition they feel may make the work unsafe. Do it the right way. Tell your supervisor and request assistance. Have them help evaluate the situation and provide additional direction and guidance to resolve the concern. Your HS&E account lead, JHSC, or health and safety representative can assist with unresolved concerns. In the event all parties do not agree on the outcome, the Provincial Ministry of Labour may be contacted. Remember, whatever the ruling of the MOL, the ruling is final. Attire, appropriate at all times. Items not allowed on the property: firearms or other weapons, explosive materials, or devices. This includes Hilti powder actuated fasteners. Smoking is never allowed inside or on the roof, only in the designated area outside the facility, 10 meters from the doors. Body contact. Do not touch or lean on any equipment, panels, doors, walls, etc. Food and beverages may be brought into and consumed only in authorized areas such as the cafeterias. No photos of any IT equipment is permitted. Personal protective equipment, PPE. Use appropriate PPE as required for the task. Employers must protect employees from workplace hazards such as machines, hazardous substances, dangerous work procedures that can cause injury, That protection can be achieved through either engineering controls, work practice controls such as installing guardrails instead of using a fall protection system. Appropriate PPE should be used if the above controls do not eliminate the hazards, i.e. hard hats, earplugs, gloves. Live electrical work can only be conducted under specific exceptions and require full PPE to be worn. All employees and contractors are required to follow all workplace laws under OSHA and wear PPE in the designated areas or for specific tasks. A CBRE safety task assignment or an equivalent pre-job hazard assessment from your own employer should be conducted before beginning any work effort. Safety, material handling. Most back injuries occur while lifting, lowering, or twisting, pushing or pulling, carrying, slips and trips, or a fall from an elevation. Use your knees when lifting. Ask for help if the object is too heavy or awkward. Use mechanical handling aids. Stretch, walk, and move around. Safety, working at heights. Other than while on a ladder, all work at a height of 2 meters or greater must be performed in accordance with a fall prevention program. Employees must be properly trained to recognize fall potential. Contractors must have a valid Ontario Working from Heights certificate. All proper precautions must be followed when working at heights. Roof access is controlled. Contractor waiver form and roof access permits must be completed by all contractors before the start of any type of work on the roof. When contractors are required to work within 3 meters of the roof's edge, in addition to their fall protection system, they must complete a fall rescue plan in accordance with OSHA standards. Ladder safety. Important rules. Setup. Set the ladder on a firm level surface. Always place guards cones around the ladder when working near doors or when inside working above or near employees. Position the ladder at the proper angle. The simple rule, the base of the ladder a distance from the vertical wall equal to 1/4 the working length of the ladder. Make sure there is clear access to the ladder top and bottom. Secure the bottom firmly or have someone hold it. Position an extension ladder before extending it. On the ladder, only one person should be on a ladder at any time. Face the ladder when climbing up or down. Hold the side rails with both hands while climbing. One hand while working. 3 points of contact at all times. Don't stand higher than 4 steps or rungs from the top, 2 for a step ladder. Don't carry tools while climbing. Use a rope, belt, pocket, etc. Don't lead to the side when on a ladder. The vertical center line of your body should stay between the side rails at all times. Contractors must bring and use their own ladders at all times, no exceptions. Never step on or use the top 2 steps of a step ladder. Maintain 3 points of contact at all times when using ladders. Utilize a helper to assist with carrying the ladder. Belt buckles should be kept within the side rails while using a ladder. Prohibited ladders. Metal and aluminum ladders are not allowed on site. They will conduct electricity and could cause a shock. Wooden ladders are also not allowed on site as they deteriorate quickly. Fire safety. If the fire alarm rings, do not leave site. Get in touch with your site contact after you have safely evacuated. Make equipment safe and stabilized. Do not attempt to locate the source of the alarm. Do not attempt to fight a fire. Evacuate through the nearest exit. All muster locations are located and identified with signage at the rear parking lots along Innovation Drive. Exit with caution. Do not block any exit or exit pathway during your work effort. Safety devices and barricades. Use appropriate safety barriers, caution tapes, cones, and warning signs/devices when required by the work script to mark where hazardous work is in progress. Incident and hazard reporting. All incidents, regardless of the severity, shall be reported immediately to your employer, CBRE representative, security, or a member of the JHSC committee. Report any unsafe work. Emergency response. It is incumbent of all contractors to be familiar with the emergency response fundamentals within our facility, i.e., location of first aid stations, eye wash stations, and ERT members. Additional site-specific information is available upon request. Cisco Canada sites include the below rooms which contain critical equipment. It's important that these devices only be worked on with a CWP, critical work permit. Data center, EPO, servers, fire systems, crack units, VESNA systems, FM200, PDUs. In the UPS rooms, EPO, buttons, electrical panels, transfer switch, battery banks, fire systems, electrical rooms, transfer switch, electrical panels, fire systems, exhaust fans. In the pump rooms, pumps, power supplies, VSDs. Chiller and cooling units, all systems, power, and mechanical systems involved with chillers/dry coolers, exhaust fans, and fan coils. The data center, IDF, BDF, telco, NOC, LDF, lab rooms, electrical panels, fire systems, and crack units. Generator room, electrical and mechanical systems, electrical panels, fuel supplies, and valves. Any device that contains a critical systems equipment tag should not be operated unless stated in the approved CWP. Access control and escorting. Do not block loading docks, manhole covers, tank tops, fire hydrants, fire standpipes, gates, or building entrances. Access control and escorting. Access to the site and facility is controlled. Without access to specific spaces, personnel will be required to be escorted. All contractors must report to the front desk to sign in. Tailgating through any access point is forbidden. Doors under no circumstances are to be wedged open. Badges, ID badges are to be clearly visible at all times. Never give your badge to someone else. Unusual activity. Report unusual activity to engineering or security immediately. Approved work will only take place at times as stipulated in the work script, in locations as stipulated in the work script. Rules for escort. All contractors must report to the front desk to sign in. Contractors must either have a Cisco security badge or be escorted by someone with a badge. Escorts will be from the host department. Persons requiring escort will be under escort at all times. Escorts will be access certified for the spaces to be visited. Departure. Vendors and outside workers must not leave site until notification to Cisco at CBRE has been informed and sign out at the front desk. Electrical and mechanical equipment. Emergency power off EPO buttons. Description. Generally located at computer room exits. Are physically protected, boxed in clear covers, etc. Activating an EPO removes power to all the critical area, resulting in a complete infrastructure shutdown, and should only be operated in the event of an emergency. Activating the EPO will shut down all computer equipment within the room, i.e. data center or lab. Electrical and mechanical equipment, emergency power off EPO. EPO guidelines. The EPO button is installed as a protective measure for human life. Activation of the EPO constitutes a decision that human life is in danger. Do not mistake the EPO button for the door exit button and vice versa. Do not mistake the EPO button for the fire alarm pull station and vice versa. If locked in, use the phone to call security. Do not push the EPO button. All work near an EPO component or on the EPO system itself requires an approved work script. Electrical and mechanical equipment reset. Do not reset alarms, breakers, valves, or touch equipment in any way unless directed by engineering and with a CWP abnormality. Contact engineering to report any equipment in alarm or any abnormal condition. Draining fluid from a pipe or vessel. Always use approved hoses and catch basins. Follow directions in the approved work script. Cap both ends of hoses when laying out or retrieving. Do not disrupt cabling, electrical connections. Prohibited. Powder discharge activated tools and devices. Penetrations may be accomplished only by authorized work script. Temporarily fire stop, permanently fire stop upon completion. Pipe cutting, threading, and grinding in approved areas only. Operations will only be performed in authorized areas as outlined by the approved work script. Hot work permit required for any soldering, welding, roofing, or any other similar tasks. Scanning required before any hammer drill anchor points are installed. Security guidelines. Observe and obey all security rules and directions. The site is under full video surveillance at all times. Visitors require pre-approval. Advanced authorization is required to remove material from site. All items coming into or being taken from site are subject to inspection. All vehicles entering or leaving the property are subject to inspection. An approved work script is required for all critical work. The approved script is to be on hand at the job site at all times. The script is to be followed completely. Your CWP will also contain a backout plan should the work effort need to be stopped for any reason. It will also contain a safety task pre-task assessment. Work script compliance. Strict compliance to the CWP and any associated MOP is required. Deviations. Any desired deviation to the approved CWP or work script must be approved and initialed by engineering. Surroundings. At all times, all workers are to be conscious of their surroundings and activities of other workers. You have the authority and responsibility to stop work if field conditions are different from your approved work script. Workplace electrical safety. The voltage of the electricity and available electrical current in regular business and homes has enough power to cause death by electrocution, so appropriate precautions must be followed. The primary safety precautions include only qualified persons who have an EEWP energized electrical work permit shall be allowed to work on energized electrical equipment, and then only for the purpose of testing, IR scanning, troubleshooting, or verification that the system is de-energized. Correct PPE must be worn at all times. Electrical equipment will be locked out before any work is started in accordance with CBRE Hazardous Energy Control Lockout Program. PPE in accordance with the level of risk must be worn, such as properly tested and certified electrical gloves or arc flash suit. CBRE employees are not authorized to work on high voltage equipment over 600 volts. Hazardous Energy Control Lockout. In addition to electrical equipment and systems, any equipment where the unexpected energization could present a hazard must be locked out prior to work on that equipment/system. Lockout includes all energy isolation, mechanical, hydraulic, pneumatic, etc. Equipment-specific lockout procedures must be developed except for plug-in style equipment. Periodic lockout evaluations must be performed throughout the year. Confined space entry. Confined spaces present unique safety risks to workers, and as a result, very specific precautions are required. Due to the risks involved, CBRE employees do not work in confined spaces, but rather retain vendors who have the appropriate training and equipment to perform any confined space work. As CBRE has oversight/responsibility, there are still safety-related requirements, including training is required for all entrance attendants and entry supervisors. All personnel involved shall review the confined space hazard assessment prior to entry of the space. Entry supervisors shall review activities prior to the entry and approve entry into the space. Hot work. Required for operations that have an open flame or can create sparks. Torch cutting, grinding, etc. Outside of a designated shop area. Combustible/flammable materials need to be cleared 35 feet from the area. At least one 10-pound ABC fire extinguisher is required. Notification to the appropriate personnel should occur at the beginning and conclusion of the work. Fire watch must remain in place 30 minutes after work is complete, documented and signed off on the hot work permit. Fire management and protection systems. Fire-rated doors are never to be propped open. Disablement. Fire detection, alarm, and suppression systems are to be disabled for all work near those systems that may cause inadvertent activation, such as dust, vibration, etc., only as stipulated by the approved work script. Only by engineering per the approved work script. Re-enablement. Systems are to be re-enabled per the work script when the work is completed for the day, on completion of all work outlined in the work script. Loading dock rules. The dock is for loading and unloading only. The dock is not a storage area. Use of the dock requires advanced approval. Parking is not permitted in the loading dock area. The loading dock is not a general access point. Freight elevators are available for use. Computer room work rules. Load limits. Observe static and rolling load limits depicted by color floor tiles. Hot work permits. Open torch, welding, and grinding activities are prohibited unless the appropriate permit has been approved. The work is contained in the approved work script. Zinc whiskers. Zinc or cadmium, electroplated equipment or accessories are prohibited. Above suspended ceiling, do not touch fire sensors or sprinkler heads. Move any cables. Below the raised floor, do not move cables, junction boxes, or any other item. Attempt to force any item from its current position. Leak detection. Avoid contact with underfloor leak detection systems. Do not move leak detection cables. Do not allow tools, supplies, or equipment to come into contact with the leak detection cables. Raised floor tiles. Follow the work script. Tile removal must be pre-approved. Fire systems must be disabled. Floor tiles, tops, and edges are to be vacuumed prior to removal. Remove only the floor tiles stipulated in the work script. Replace floor tiles as soon as possible. Replace all floor tiles at the end of the workday/shift. Use safety cones or warning signs to mark the open area as per the approved work script. Do not leave any items in the underfloor cavity at the end of the workday. Floor tile cutouts. Minimize the number and the size. Protect with permanent edge guard trip strips. Fit with airflow restrictor devices. Conform to the floor tile cutout standard. Maximum 6 tiles removed at any time. Unpackage any equipment outside of the computer room or worksite. Packing material to be in the loading dock. Blocked access. Keep aisleways free from obstruction. Place no items on or in computer room racks or cabinets. Flammable materials are not permitted in the computer room at any time. Approved cleaning methods. Lint-free rags, electrically safe vacuum cleaners, HEPA 0.3 micron or less, discharge, plugged in only where approved. Dustpans with handheld brushes. Cleaning methods that require approval. Broom sweeping, compressed air or steam cleaning, normal shop vac operations, static-free aerosol cleaners. Trash receptacles have plastic bag liners and are located outside computer room exits. Clean up while you work. Remove work residual as it's generated. General cleanup of work areas is to occur daily. Use only approved vacuum, see earlier slide. Leave nothing under the raised floor. Prior approval of damp mopping is required. Mop buckets are not allowed in the computer room. Leave the work area cleaner than you found it. tools, and equipment. Remove from the work area at the end of the day. Stow in approved locations only. Cisco's environmental policy. Sustainability and protecting the environment are a priority at Cisco. A copy of the environmental policy will be provided upon your request. How ISO 14001 affects you as a Cisco service provider. All service providers are to deliver their services to meet or exceed Cisco's environmental goals by reduce waste whenever possible, reuse, divert from landfills, recycle, reclaim construction material, furniture, e-waste, adopt the principles of the environmental stewardship within their organization, incorporate an environmental culture within their organization. Per activity project, work with Cisco to incorporate possible waste diversion strategies through the work effort. Provide Cisco with the metrics on their 3 R's diversion success so that this information can be collected as part of Cisco's ISO 14001 Environmental Management System EMS reporting. You can prevent unplanned outages. Adhere to personal behavior standards at all times. Follow all safety processes and procedures. Adhere to all security and escort requirements. Read and understand and follow all direction on signage. Follow the approved work script completely and sequentially. Understand all requirements related to the fire protection system. Use authorized entrances only. Follow all rules relating to raised floor environments. Comply with all housekeeping requirements. Use maintenance designated power outlets only. Use only authorized and electrically safe power tools. Don't. Turn off breakers not specified in the work script. Move valve positions unless specified in the work script. Unplug devices not stipulated in the work script. Generate dust at the worksite. Allow loose clothing to catch on switches, levers, valve stems, etc. Pull a loose wire or cable unless specified in the work script. Open power panels unless required in the work script. Use substances that off-gas odors or smells into the air system. Bring into or leave trash and flammable material at the worksite. Act irresponsibly at the worksite. Thank you for completing Cisco's Employee and Contractor Safety Induction Training. An electronic copy is available upon your request.